Matt, we are playing Starter Steel Welsh Legends Edition versus current Boks.
Okay, so let me get this straight.
Yeah.
The Welsh aren't good enough to bother with Starter Steel right now.
Yes, but that's not. I don't want to say it in so many words. But the Welsh Legends, some lekker players they had.
There are some lekker players, and it might challenge us a little bit. So I'm going to try and be non-biased today.
Yeah.
Let's get into it. Before we do, if you like what we're doing, if you love Starter Steel, if you've watched all the other ones, hit the like button, drop a subscribe if you haven't, and leave us a comment on where we get these selections wrong.
Right. There we go. We're going to kick things off. The tight head prop battle.
Okay.
Adam Jones, 95 caps, 2 Lions tours versus Frans Malherbe. 2-time World Cup winning prop.
All right.
Adam Jones.
We've started with a doozy.
Adam Jones scrum.
95 caps for a team that favoured scrummaging, because the Welsh were good at scrummaging in his time.
The Welsh were very good.
He had his other mate with the blonde long hair.
Yeah.
Together with them. Strong. Just like almost the same shape as France.
Almost.
You know,
he was
loves a beer.
140 kgs, 130 kgs or something like that.
You can't win 95 caps.
If you can't.
He probably won 4 or 5 Six Nations, because the Wales in that time, every 3 or 4 years, were winning a Six Nations. Maybe 4. A couple of Grand Slams in there. Lions tours, lost them all.
Unfortunately.
Not
unfortunately.
But you can't almost... Look, we've got France 2 World Cups. It's hard to challenge against, like, okay, Wales aren't going to win World Cups.
Not right now.
Okay. But back then, they were probably at a better position too.
Yeah.
When he was playing, certainly his scrummaging off the base was incredible. Frans Malherbe, he's such a good scrummager. And the guy, you know what gets me? Is like, he goes around his business. Nobody really talks about him, except now, like, the Boks are championing him in the conversation. Was it Doc Craven who said the tight end is the
tight end props.
Tight end. I'm talking about American football. The tight end props should be your first player on the team sheet.
Yeah.
And your second player should be the reserve tight end. Okay, and it's so true. That guy, you see Ox, you see Kitsy winning those scrum penalties, and you shout, but you forget about the Kochs and the Frans Malherbes that actually allow them to do it, that anchor that scrum. Yeah, exactly. I'm going to go France massively because of bias. Because I love Frans Malherbe. I think he's had a fabulous career. He's aiming for 100 caps, so he could beat up.
Is he on like 70 something now? 60 something?
Yeah, 75 or so. He's probably going to make it to the next World Cup just because a tight head can do that.
And we don't play more than 45 minutes.
Yeah, and he doesn't run around the field. Neither did Adam Jones, to be fair. But that's a really close one. I don't want to think like, I've just gone France. That's a really close decision.
It's not because
he would have played for the Boks.
He would have played for the Boks. Well, during that time, 2000.
I think he would have played. He would have got a couple of caps.
He would have been there. Austria would have retired roughly.
There's no reason he wouldn't have. That strength of scrummaging, he would have got an opportunity.
Yeah, true. Okay, all right. That's the first one. Now, this one, most capped Welshman and possibly most capped rugby player of all time, I think. Alan Jones, 158 caps. Also, many Lions tours, many Lions caps. Or Franco Sos Mostert.
That's actually a tough one, because I thought you were going to say Irvin. No, and then it would be easy.
It would be easy.
I would take Irvin.
I'm going to make it tough for you.
So Alan Jones, you can't take anything away from a guy who's captained a country to trophies.
Yeah.
To World Cups.
He's captained the
Lions. He's got multiple Lions caps, as you said.
Yeah.
158 is his national caps, which includes probably 12 Lions caps, I suppose. He was an okay lock. I'm sorry. He was an okay lock. In the later part of his career, he was quite abrasive, which I liked.
Yeah.
The bionic man at sometimes. I think the fact that he got brought in to the 2021 Lions tour after being injured was a complete waste of time, and actually was one of the reasons why they struggled.
He shouldn't have.
That wasn't good enough as a player. What does Rusty say? An 80% fit player is never going to be as good as a 100% fit player.
Of course not.
No matter how good they are.
Yeah.
Right? So that, I think, was costly to Lions in a place where the Boks weren't playing tasty rugby because they couldn't. They hadn't had any practice, so they were just going to what they knew. And the British and Irish knew that. That was silly. Soos Mustard, Lions player, came out of nowhere in the Lions, just like grew in that franchise, was part of that incredible time where my heart still hurts with the three Super Rugby finals in a row. Couldn't get across the line. But he's the universal soldier for a reason. The guy plays lock. He's so versatile. But if he was just playing lock,
yeah,
the question is he better than Alan Wynne-Jones? I'm gonna go Alan Wynne-Jones.
Oh,
at lock, just at lock.
Okay,
just at lock. Okay. If I was to choose a player who's gonna add, I need versatility in my squad. Of course, Soos wins.
Okay, that's all right. I'm not happy with you, but I understand. Right.
Soos, I'm sorry.
Soos, Murim. Anyway, next one. Last forward. And this guy frustrates me sometimes when he talks in the punditry and stuff. So Sam Warburton, 74 caps, 2 Lions tours. I mean, he had to retire at the age of 29 because he couldn't recover from neck and back injuries. So he would have got 100.
Neck back?
Because he earned his crack.
But he was a captain for a long time.
He was. He was a phenomenal player when he played for Wales. Or Sia Khaleesi. Do you start Sia Khaleesi?
I've just had a 4-minute talk about Alan Wynne-Jones versus Soos Mustard. I'm not going to do that with Sia Khaleesi and Sam Warburton. Sam Warburton was a good player.
Yeah.
He was a good international flank. He was a good international flank. He was a pretty good captain too.
Yeah.
Trophies, all the rest of it. Sia is a well above good player. Whether you think he's a great or not, he's well above good. Yeah. Everyone, I think, can agree with that. He's a very good player for our game plan. And he's the greatest captain of all time.
Ooh.
Across any country.
Big shout.
Richie, sorry. It's different setup.
Yeah.
He was the most winning captain. You can have it.
You can have that, yeah.
Sia is the best captain, possibly in all of sports.
Oh, that's a big call.
Okay. For what he does for our country. That's what he does for that team. So we're going Sia.
Fine. All right. Now, moving on to the back lines. So would you pick Dan Biggar?
Ooh.
Also had a hell of a career. A lot of injuries. A little bit of dancing.
No, that was Trevor. I was doing Trevor.
Oh, you're doing Trevor. Dan Biggar did the Dan Biggar shuffle. Anyway, Dan Biggar or Handré Pollard. Now, they're similar-ish, but they're different-ish as well. But yeah, Dan Biggar, do you reckon he could have made the Boks team? Anyway, I'll let you talk, but let's go. Dan Biggar or Handré Pollard?
I like Dan Biggar. I thought he's a very good 10. In a time where we had good 10s across international rugby, he was a very good 10, right? Stood out as a Wales 10. He was instrumental in that back line. You're right, he plays the same kind of way as Handré. He hits his goals.
Yeah.
He has a conservative, straightening the line, passing the centres, let them cook attitude, okay? Which is what Gatlin does, so that's fine. If Handré wasn't around and he was a South African, I think he'd have the caps that Handré has. If you think about Morné Steyn, then we have Huisson, Jantjies, Pollard. Okay? Those three were the kind of 10s.
Yeah. During that time.
And obviously Pollard had the majority of that time. And I think Jantjies had 46. If Pollard wasn't around and Biggar was there, I think Biggar would have Pollard's caps. I think he's good enough for that.
Yeah.
Okay. Jantjies isn't better than him.
No.
Huisson, whether he was better with him at one point or not, went walkabouts and didn't value that or whatever. You know,
too injury prone as well.
That's his choice. So I think he's up there with a very similar standard to Handré Pollard.
Yeah.
Okay. But there were 2 World Cups where Handré Pollard beat him.
This is true.
Okay. 2015. Yeah. Dwayne Vermeulen out the back.
Freda.
And Handré was the starting 10 in that. Yeah, he was, wasn't he? And then 2019 against him again, and we beat him. So I'm not disrespecting Handré when I say the comparison, because I think he's a Lions player as well. I'm gonna go Handré because he beat Dan Biggar in those 2 matches.
Okay, that's fair. I'll take it. What do you guys think?
Let me know in the comments.
Right, now this one. two speedsters.
Okay.
We've got a previous World Player of the Year, Rugby World Player of the Year,
Ooh.
2008, Shane Williams.
The only Welsh player of the year, to my knowledge.
Yeah, there was a... No, that's correct.
Yeah.
Or,
And he was very special.
He was...
Number of caps.
He had Lions. He got about 4 Lions caps. So he's played. He had, I think, about 90, between 70 and 90 Welsh caps.
Around a long time.
He was around a long time, and he was probably, at one point, he was the quickest.
Don't do this to me.
Or Cheslin Colby.
I'm sure Cheslin Colby sat at high school
and
watched the Six Nations and pictured himself being Shane Williams.
Probably.
Eh?
Yeah, potentially.
Similar kind of player.
Yeah.
We're talking about the Shane Williams, the Robinsons, the Gia Aplons of the world. Cheslin must have watched these guys and be like, I could do it.
I want to do that,
Right? Shane Williams was a winger, diminutive winger, scored tries for fun, step people for fun.
It's quick.
But played in Six Nations in a period where England weren't good, Ireland weren't good,
not as good as I know.
France weren't good, Scotland weren't good, and Italy weren't good. That's the okay. England, look, 2003 World Cup. Yes, he played during that period, but I don't think he was starring in that period, right? I think his opposition was maybe easier for him to have the career he had at that time, which take nothing away from the guy. You know, Cheslin Colby's come up prime New Zealand, prime England, when England under Eddie Jones was prime.
Yeah.
Prime Ireland, prime France.
Prime.
Dominated France. The domestic
he
completed
was one
moved
of
on.
Yeah.
And I think he's beaten all those teams. He's got 30-odd caps, so that brings him down. Because it was a late start for Cheslin, where the coaches didn't believe him. We know the Boks culture. But you've got to start Cheslin. He's too much of a game changer. I think Shane Williams was an incredible player that was fantastic to have on the team. Would have Boks caps if he was in the Cheslin era and Cheslin wasn't around.
Yes, because he would never have made the Boks because of his
Probably
size.
more similar to Curtly Aronson than Cheslin Colby.
I agree there, actually.
Okay. Colby can step you in a phone booth. You know,
he'll bounce you.
He will bounce you. So he'll bounce your mama. He'll bounce everybody. Cheslin Colby all day long.
Right, so that's 4-1.
It's 4-1. I think that's fair.
It's fair.
Could we have put Mostard instead of Alun Jones? Yes, I could have.
But
I'm trying to be, as a lock,
diplomatic.
Tell me where we got it wrong. Tell me who you think you'd take as a Welsh hero if we didn't talk about him in the Boks squad. There might be some other people floating around.
Oh, yeah.
And join us next time. Subscribe. You'll get the alert. Drop us a comment. Let us know where we got it wrong. See you later.